Hello there everybody, this is Alex from Hardcore Guides, bringing my guide for Pragmata on Lunatic difficulty. Today we're doing Sector 6 entitled Central Port. Is that actually correct? I think. I'm pretty sure it's Central something, so yeah. Anyway, this is the last sector. There's going to be, Central Port, I was right, okay. There's going to be some dead filament type stuff going on, and we're also going to be fighting the final boss in the next video, because this is actually part 1 out of 2, and that would pretty much just be it. Yeah, we're right there. We're practically at endgame, and the first half of this chapter, I want to say, well, we fight, because I was skimming through it a little bit, we did fight, what was it? Not Sector Guard, what are they called? It's like the flying type enemy drone guy that's kind of like a mini-boss. And I think, maybe I'm wrong, I should have looked at it, but I think we fight the Sentinel guy. The first thing we do is what I like to call the Callisto Protocol train, and it kind of just reminds me of it, actually. But, of course, before that, we have to deal with the walkers, which I think you can just go ahead and skip past them anyway. And also, even though if they don't have dead filament on them, you can actually use the, like, blast attack to just do even a little bit of damage, possibly even a little bit of knockback, that sort of thing. I mean, at this point, you know, fighting 5 walkers at the beginning of a chapter just means nothing anymore. So, I mean, it's been that way for probably a good amount of the entire game, but, free money, I guess, so who am I to complain? I'm just saying that these guys should not give you that much difficulty. I mean, even if they did, or much trouble. You know, if they did, I mean, shockwave, knockback stuff, you know, that kind of thing should help. So, I don't want to be that guy and be like, oh, well, if it's easy for me, it's got to be easy for you, which is not usually the case. Because there's plenty of things that other people can do that I can't. And I find those things kind of hard, so who am I to talk? And of course, I do have Overdrive already been saved up and active, so whenever I need to use it, of course I'm going to use it, but I typically, if you haven't watched the other videos before, I typically just kind of save it for quote-unquote bigger fights. Not necessarily something specific most of the time, but just mainly if there's a lot of enemies or a lot of more tanky enemies I have to deal with. And instead of just prioritizing smaller fry or whatever, if they just get to the point where like, okay, you know, maybe they'll give me a little bit of a challenge here, then I'll just use it. But I don't think I use it much here. It's been a while since I've actually done this part, so I might have. But luckily with all these crates around, we do have a good amount of cover, especially from the samurai guy. And of course the Walker Mark II is going to be a little bit more aggressive. And he's probably going to be the one that's probably going to end up annoying you the most. So I'd say, if anything, try to prioritize the walkers first, and then deal with this guy right after. And of course, Shockwave Gun is perfect for this because it should have a heat-up system to it already installed, I believe. I never did check on that because I'm kind of a bit of a terrible guidesman, but as far as I know, Shockwave, I think, just already just obliterates through heat anyway, or at least charges up heat enough. As far as I'm aware, from, you know, doing these playthroughs and such, that's what it seems like. Also off topic, but in recent news, something that came out, we finally got some Resident Evil 9 DLC. It took a while, but we finally got some, and as you've probably seen, it's the Leon Must Die challenge mode thingy. I did try it out a little bit, and it's not, you know, it's not Mercenaries exactly, but it's pretty close, so I'm fine with what we got. I'm not going to complain too much. And before that, we got to deal with these guys. We got a spider, which just, you know, go pure blitz on him. The impeder should not be too much of a problem with you right now, because if you got all this cover, it should be a little bit harder for him to actually spot you and hit you, so to speak, especially if you have confused, you know. Using Confuse to just kind of get him to stop attacking you in general is always something I like to use. I don't have the Stasis Net, but Stasis Net would have been nice to have here. But that's fine. Impeders, luckily, are not super tanky, even though they would look like they probably are. But fortunately, they're not that bad, so... I know, none of what I'm saying really probably helps too much. But that's the thing with Pragmata, is like, I don't know what to help with. Like, I don't know. I mean, at the very least, the final boss, I could probably give you guys some pointers, but I would probably even argue that those aren't even great tips and advice anyway I could give you, because, hell, I know how to fight the final boss, but I don't know how to cheese the final boss. I think I've seen some things that do allow you to cheese through the game a little bit, and if you're okay with using cheese maneuvers, then, I mean, you know, go right ahead. We are going to get a new enemy archetype. We're going to definitely be seeing a lot more of these guys. They're covered in dead filament, but you take them out as you see fit, of course. But we are going to be seeing a new archetype of an enemy that only really ever shows up maybe a couple of times. I mean, unless you respawn, you know, stuff like that, yeah, they'll come back around. But for the most part, he's up there and we're down here, so it's going to be a bit before we get there. Now, the thing is, keep in mind that even if you do the explosion attack, even if they have dead filament on them, or not even really that, if you hack them, if you hack them, even though they have dead filament, it will still open them up for damage. So that is something you can still technically do. However, I cannot confirm 100% if you do less damage or not, or if maybe Diana takes damage from trying to hack through dead filament. That's something I never really tested out too much, because as you could probably tell, this was straight up my second playthrough. Like, I'm not... Oh yeah, there's a creeper back here. I forgot about that. These guys are just obnoxious, because, you know, it just sucks. Like, you can't do anything when they're invisible, and it's really annoying. Unless you overdrive. That's, like, the only thing you can really do to turn them back into being, well, visible. Now, the other thing I tend to do is I tend to just wait for them to try to attack me. And then when they do that, I just go for a dodge, and then just completely dodge it that way, get them to activate, and then, of course, you know, usually end up getting the slowdown hacking to work out pretty well. I guess it's not I don't think everybody is affected by the shockwave's heat up thing. That might just be the one guy that usually that happens to. I don't know why that is. Huh. I don't know. The game's weird, man. Well, it is and it's not. I don't know everything. I only know how to do what I know how to do. So I'm not going to ever say that I was some professional or anything like that at this game. I'm just... Well, I don't know. Some people would probably argue that it's wrong of me to say that I'm just your average Joe when it comes to this type of stuff, but I don't know. I don't really know. I kind of consider myself a pretty... I wouldn't say average, but I definitely do tend to play games quite a bit, and I tend to play games on hard, so maybe a little bit more or less above average in that field, I guess. Yeah, coming in here, we have to deal with an impeder. Sorry, a Crusher Mark II. Luckily, I had the freeze hack on, because I usually just save the free stuff for bigger guys. Anyway, and of course we had the heat up nodes and what have you. And then I thankfully have a damaging weapon, so that also is nice, because I didn't have a shockwave at this point, which does suck. So, then of course I'm not just going to waste my ultimate trying to knock him down. I'm just going to build up heat, try to go for the finisher, that sort of thing. So, rinse, lather, repeat for a good while. Until you get to the boss. And then you're going to have to fight the Sentinel dude. I think that's what they're called. The guy from the last chapter with like 2 blades. But even then, he's unfortunately not even really that bad either. The only thing that's actually, after playing the game a second time, the only thing I can really say that would even be challenging or super challenging would have to be the final boss. Like, I'm genuinely surprised that they made the final boss somewhat difficult compared to everything else we've had to deal with. It's kind of strange. I'll explain that, of course, probably when you get there, or whenever I get the chance, which I guess is probably right now, because nothing's really happening. Just the usual walker guys. I don't think you can go for headshots anymore. It's weird. Because, like, as you saw there, I was trying to go for headshots. I mean, I'm able to do it, but it doesn't look like I'm kind of doing it very well, or at least I'm getting the most benefit from it, so... I'm not sure. No, either way. But yeah, again, you can, like I said, you can hack enemies and still should be able to shoot them, even though they have the dead filament and stuff, but... I usually just like to get rid of it just anyway, and I took a hefty amount of damage there. Because my depth perception is just completely terrible. I didn't realize he was going to actually hit me with it. So, there's that. I wish there was an upgrade to this thing that you could just make the cooldown a lot faster, because it's really annoying having to wait for this stuff. It's not even really hard, it's just really annoying. Something else, again, you know, back to the, it's just common sense stuff, but pay attention to your surroundings when you're dealing with things and, like, you're hacking things. And again, you can always just stop hacking an enemy to just... start working on, or not really working on, but just to get yourself some distance if you happen to get stuck between a rock and a hard place, like I kind of am here, so. And your progress will still stay, which is nice. I don't know, I'm having a hard time talking today. What's up with that? I mean, what else is new? Okay, very nice. I guess headshots still do work, even though with the filament stuff on them. And here's our new guy. No, never mind. Wrong guy. Well, technically kind of new-ish, but not really. Also, I do have a recovery modification on that allows me, if I get hit, I can just dodge and recover a little bit of health. So, for him, he's really weird now. So, basically, the idea is roughly about the same, but now he's got this little sort of dead filament crystal thing on him that you have to explode. I don't have to, but it's preferable that you do. And as you can see here, I'm still using, even though I don't need to, I'm still using the shockwave. Not the shockwave gun, but just like the wave from Diana anyway. So I can just kind of get some knockback on him. Riot Blaster, also same thing, once again. Use the Riot Blaster, just kind of knock him on his butt a little bit, and then take him out, so. Yeah, they're scary at first, but then you kind of get used to it, and it's like, okay. It's mainly the new crystal thing you have to deal with. That's something completely new you got to worry about now. If you want, go back to the shelter and just, you know, get your stuff back. But I think there's another one coming up not that far from now. I think. So, as this game likes to do its shelter stuff a lot. And boy, do I mean a lot. Game's super nice with checkpoints, so... Alright, looks like we're gonna be doing, I think this is the boss guy, right? When you click this thing, I think you fight him right now. So it would be better if you just go back and get the checkpoint. It's like I said, I believe you do fight a boss here. I would love to skip ahead and find out, but I can't really do that. Maybe not. Oh, I should have cut all this out. Well, at the time, like, you know, I was enjoying doing this, but now I'm kind of getting tired of it. That's pretty much why I haven't done anything, like, for the past couple of weeks, or why I haven't done any video footage. Or not really video, whatever. I haven't done any commentary because I've just been so tired of this guide in particular, because everything just ends up being the same thing all the time. Like, everything I talk about just ends up being the same thing. So... except for certain moments where, like, okay, I can probably give you a little bit of advice here and there. And don't get me wrong, I love this game, but I have to admit, it's really kind of hard to just sit through, I don't know how many parts we're at right now, like maybe, I don't know, 10 videos, I think, something like that. And, you know, relatively a lot of the chapters are pretty long, which, good thing I didn't record the entire chapters for commentary, because I'm not doing that Wolverine thing again. We're not doing that ever again. Talking for an entire hour and a half gets really old, especially when a game doesn't really necessarily do anything new to warrant me even talking about it to begin with. But this is technically just... this is the curse I've given myself. Like, I have to do commentary. I have to watch the video all the way through. I'm just being a whiny little bitch. Simple as. So, don't take me not having a really good time commentating technically as like, oh wow, he must really hate the game, because I enjoyed doing it at the beginning, and now I'm kind of starting to feel the effects of it, so to speak. Like, oh man, because again, nothing really super new and exciting happens. I don't know. That's just the unfortunate part of it. So, I mean, another thing too is like I don't want to not talk about guide stuff, because if I start doing that, I'm afraid people are going to start hating that and be like, well, why are you talking about anything that's not guide related? Like, you should be focusing on both, because that was the whole thing of how you do it, right? Like, you know, you talk about things here and there, but you're more so focused on talking about guide stuff. But oh yeah, also I did go back 100% of the levels, so there's that. I didn't have to, but now you know that you can do that. So, well, you can do it any time you want, of course. But I'm just letting you guys know ahead of time that yes, I did go back 100%, just so I can get some nice little upgrades if need be. They're nothing fancy, just small little upgrades here and there. Which, to be fair, anything I get, it's probably pretty good. All right, you know what? Let's talk about whatever, I guess. What's on the menu? So, I've been playing Persona 5 again, because I can get trophies again on the PS5. There's that. I just now beat the second dungeon. I forgot how long the game is in terms of talking-wise. Like, they talk all the time. It's really obnoxious. I've just been in a really big RPG mood, you know? I'm gonna one of these guys again. Just destroy the crystal thing. You know how it goes. Just been like in a really big RPG mood, so been playing a lot of those. At least trying to. Dragon Quest 3, Persona 5 again. Because I like SMT and Persona stuff, so those are my favorite types of RPG things to play, technically speaking, in terms of JRPG. What else? There's so many, it's hard to keep track of. I have other games I haven't started yet, like I probably should. I mean, I did kind of start Final Fantasy Tactics Remastered, which, by the way, I didn't know this, but it comes with the original game too, which is pretty cool. So I was playing that for a little bit, but it's still Final Fantasy Tactics, so I've never gotten into it. I don't have anything wrong with playing a tactics game at all. Just I tend to not, I wouldn't say necessarily care. It's more like it depends on the tactics game in question. Like, there's plenty of tactics. Like, I like Fire Emblem to an extent, but I do tend to get kind of bored of Fire Emblem games, not because of the combat. It's because of everything else around it. Like, usually the story stuff is just, oh, let's just talk about this and go on this little adventure, and then that's it. Alright, new guide time. So essentially, you're going to want to take out both arms, and he's a little bit obnoxious to deal with because his patterns are really odd. And you don't fight this guy enough to really even learn a lot of his attack patterns anyway, besides just horizontal dodging, so that's pretty much it. The idea is, of course, just keep breaking his arms down, blow them up, and then I just use the overdrive here just to save myself time. It's not necessarily that this guy's too hard to fight. It's just like, oh man, like this is gonna suck, I just know it. So, weak spots are on the back. It's recommended you break off both arms. You don't have to, but I would just say do it anyway. Shockwave, Charge Piercer, anything that has like strong damage that can attack quick would be your best bet to destroy crystal stuff. Oh, you won't believe this though. So while going back, no wait, I don't think I've, okay. You'd be surprised. The jackhammer is like it's like a sort of, I don't know why Lunatic difficulty does this, but like this weird sort of New Game Plus type thing. Also, yes, I did miss that chest, but I go back and get it later. The jackhammer is not a bad weapon at all. It ignores defense, I think, or something along those lines of pretty much just it ignores the fact that you have to hack enemies. You can just kind of use it and hit them, and it hurts, and it will just delete enemies. So the way you use it is it has two sort of attacks at a time, and what you do is you just hit R2, wait like a second, and then you hit it again after it's completed the first animation. It takes some time to get used to, but if you do that, you'll actually end up using the same shot, and it'll activate a laser. Like right about there is when I should have done it, but I didn't because I'm too slow. But the point is, like, it's not really even a bad weapon at all, and I was surprised because I was like, oh, a melee weapon? Like, this is going to be weird because, like, typically I'd rather just have, for me personally, I'd rather just keep my distance as much as I can. So that way I can just, fight these guys what I, consider appropriately. But yeah, the jackhammer weapon does do pretty good wonders. And I do think it's worth getting it if you wanted to. So, something to look into if you're interested. At least go play it in challenge mode or something if you can, or go test it out and see if you like it. But it's pretty nice. And like I said, it does ignore having to hack through enemies, which is really helpful. So, there's that. Yeah, anyway, other games, what was it? There goes my ruler. Mary Skelter, I'm playing through that again, because I have it on Switch now, because I have the second game on Switch, because the PS4 had the Japanese copy, which I could have bought, because as far as I know, you can play Japanese games on PS4 and such. You can do that on PSP, which is crazy. So, I do have that. And I mainly wanted to play 2, but because I have played 1 before, back on Vita, and I got stuck a long time ago, and now I'm stuck again. It's like, fuck, man. But I want to get to the cool stuff. I really want to get to the cool stuff, but 2 missions in, it's like, fuck. Let me just play the damn game and have fun. Jeez. But no, you gotta go through all this maze-like crap just to figure out where to go. And I'm not a fan of maze stuff, man. I'm not. I don't mind dungeon crawlers, but I just don't like it when they become annoying. Even though they've shrunk down the maps in the remastered version of it too, compared to the Vita one. Okay, so this is where I saw the boss fight at. Okay. This is completely optional. You don't have to do this. I'm only doing it because I want to. If you want to get the secret ending, you're going to have to do this, because you need 100% everything. Was there a cut there? Oh, there was a cut, because I think I died. Okay, well. Well, now someone's going to call me a cheater, so get used to it. I think I might have launched that a little too early. No, it looks like it's fine. Yeah, save an overdrive for this fight, or at least have it happen between the fight. And try your best to build up heat as much as possible. That's how this guy pretty much just works. I don't think Stasis Net works on him, though, unfortunately. And freeze mods only work for maybe a couple of seconds before they just go away. Because he is a boss, so technically, at least a mini-boss of sorts. But the idea of what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to consistently build up heat as much as possible. Didn't realize that guy was there until I looked around and was like, wait a minute. Hope I killed him. Oh, something else to bring as well is the impact shield. And have it just slightly upgraded to take some of the hits. But I do recommend bringing the impact shield just in case, because this guy likes to fly around and just be really obnoxious about it and be a hard target to kind of deal with. So, and of course the missile barrage, because that's what you gotta have. It's Pragmata, you gotta have missile barrage stuff. And these guys just seem to pop up whenever they feel like it. I think there's not an infinite amount of them. I don't think the boss himself summons them. I believe he's just shows up on their own, kind of. Has like small little lackeys. But focus your party on them, usually first, just to get rid of them. And plus, building up hacking give you the overdrive, and you can just do this again. So, always worth it in the end. Do bear in mind, you can attack him when he's stunned, but it will drop the heat gauge faster. But you can still do a finisher even though it's dropping the heat gauge. Something else to keep in mind as well. Oh yeah, sticky bombs are also super helpful. Because again, Stasis Net's not going to help you much with him because he's not going to be stuck down for any amount of time. But another thing to mention here is that the homing missiles are on the field. And I think the reason why they have homing missiles in this fight in general is because this guy likes to just pretty much just be hard to catch, sort of. And they most likely put that there for the sake of needing to kind of stay back and lock on and hit him with just anything, really. So, something else to also keep in mind. I mean, really, any weapon works great against him, just as long as you know what you're doing with it. And at this point in time, you're already 6 sectors in. You know, anything that comes at you should be fine. Jackhammer probably won't work great because you need to stun him down, but you need to have him, like, on the ground practically as far as I would guess, and make sure that he's easy to catch that way. But there you go. Again, completely optional. You don't have to do it, but if you want some extra money, if you want some extra stuff, upgrade stuff, then I think it's well worth it. It's not really even a hard fight anyway, necessarily, especially if you're building heat. So, and again, I cannot stress that enough. How much heat is so dang important in this game. Like, it is nuts how much that thing just sort of seemingly, what am I doing? Seemingly just seemingly just completely destroys enemies, which is nice to have. Yeah, here we go. Coming into this room, you got a bunch of dead filament on the ground. It's not going to bother you too much if you just stay away from it. There's plenty of platforms to hide out about. Riot Blaster, if you get stuck like I do, you know, these guys are not that much of a threat anyway. But if you do happen to get stuck and you're worried, Riot Blaster, and if you can, do the finisher, so that way you can just get the knockback and get out of the little hidey hole that I ended up getting myself into. A complete accident. Also, enemy aggro is pretty small in terms of field of view. Usually, whenever you run away far enough, enemies just typically just go right back to where they just were and won't really bother you too much. Look at the heat buildup on that. Isn't that crazy? I guess it's just these guys that tend to have the worst when it comes to the heat buildup stuff because, man, they take it hard, man. They really do. Shoot him right in the beer belly, and, yeah. Some cool stuff back here. Try not to miss, because it's pretty easy to do that, surprisingly. And that's our first gate. I think there's 2 or 3. There might be more. It might be that one room where there's like 4 or 5 of these things. No, that's a different room I'm thinking of. And this was just secret stuff. And I think there might be a creeper down here too. Possibly. Usually, like in dark areas, they tend to have at least a creeper or 2, but it's been a bit. And every time that I get the chance to grab anything out of this, I'm just going to grab the shockwave gun. Because to me, that's most important. Okay, never mind. We're going into just a straight-up actual arena fight. Alright, cool. So, Spider, make that your first priority. Don't worry about the Crusher. He's not going to do much to you. He's scary, sure, but the Spiders are even worse. If you can have overdrive for this and set it off immediately, or in this case, find a nice little corner like I did, which I just got super lucky with that to be fair, and have impact shield ready to go, or decoy. Either one works, but preferably shield because at least then the spiders can't attack you. Both spiders should be your main target. Oh, and speaking of spiders, there was a jumping spider, like a gray jumping spider on my car today, and I let him on my hand, and he was just jumping on my hand. I tried to get him in the grass, but he was being silly about it and not let him go. I like jumping spiders. I think they're quite cute. I mean, a lot of people tend to kind of think they're cute. But jumping spiders are definitely pretty adorable, no doubt. Which is funny because my parents' cat, because I was at my parents' house. I went to their house today, and the cat, she wanted pets too, and it's like, bro, I can't do like 2 things at once, man. Like, come on, man. So, that was most of my day. I also got a toilet installed, a new toilet, so that needed to happen, man. It needed to happen bad because the thing just would not flush properly. The last one I had, it just went to crap. It went so bad. I forget what brand I had, but all I know is that brand that I was buying was like, oh yeah, we can basically just flush tons of crap. Like it's really good at that. Only for it to just kind of go to actual shit. 5 years later, maybe it's been. I think since I last got one. So it just sucks. It happens, but hey, it happens. What can you do? Besides just get a new one and get something hopefully better and even bigger, because that's what I wanted, something a bit bigger. All right, so now we got a lockdown fight. How bad could this be? What do you think? I mean, what do you think I'm going to say, realistically speaking? And something else, too, is, like, even though I'm pretty crazy with a lot of my dodges and stuff, I mean, I come from an era of, well, action games. So even though I may be crazy with my dodges, or it might seem like it's kind of hard to keep up with them, just bear in mind that if you just keep yourself far enough back, and if you're slightly just quick enough at hacking, or at the very least, the first hack should always just be trying to hit the green. And if you have any hack mods that you want to use, I mean, yeah, go for them. But then after that, then start going for the heat nodes. You don't really realistically need to go for the blue nodes first. Well, it's worth doing that because it keeps the hacking open for longer, unless you have the modifications which allow you to have longer time for hacking being open. But if it's that worrisome, just go for the green, get them open, and go straight back into heating and stuff. Or if need be, shockwave, anything with knockback, to keep yourself just at a constant distance. Because that's one thing about this game when it comes to a lot of the main fodder is keeping distance. And even in this case, stasis net, keeping them stunned as much as you possibly can. Any way you can make enemies just not move is pretty much just +1 in this game in terms of usefulness or advantage. By the way, the ball shots can be destroyed by a Diana's shockwave move, so you can't do that, thankfully. It looks like even creepers can be stunned by stasis net too. Well, what do you know? That's actually super helpful. I forgot about that. I wonder if you can attack them while they're invisible. With stasis, maybe. I don't know. He might have been getting hit by the impact shield. I'm not sure. But something else to keep in mind, too, is I always end up running around with impact shield now. I don't really do decoy nearly as much anymore. Because at the very least, I'd rather protect myself and just not have them attack at all. And this is just me doing the usual, like, alright, I got overdrive, let's just blast it and get rid of things. I don't know why it's going slow there. I guess because I blew up the crystal. And now I'm just trying to finish them off as much as I can. So I'm going quiet. I can't really say much. I mean, it's the same thing, but now they have dead filament. Like, yeah, they're slightly better, or they're slightly tougher enemies, but not by much. So, nothing really new I could tell you. And that's it. That was the entire fight. Yeah, I know. I'm just as surprised as you are. I think we're about over halfway through this right now. Yeah, we're getting close. We have about another 13 minutes left. Yes, I know. It's like, man, if you're not enthusiastic about something, you shouldn't be doing it. Like, you're just, you sound so depressed, and like everyone watching is going to be depressed watching you be depressed. I'm sorry, like I said, I don't know. Like, there's just, I don't know, man. It might be best if I just keep taking breaks after every guide just to make sure that I can come back fresh and ready to go. Although the next guide I have planned is Ninja Gaiden Redux again, and I'm going to have to try to do my best to make sure that I try to stick to the actual guide itself and explain everything the best I can. I mean, I'm sure I'm probably going to end up talking about whatever happens that day, but I don't know. To be fair, even Ninja Gaiden, to some extent, is the same kind of thing like this, where how do I put it? Like, I've seen myself play Ninja Gaiden so many times, and I know all the different things, all the different cheese strats that work throughout most of the entire game. And then, like, if I tell people, like, okay, just use this, what more can I really say? You know? It's like with Pragmata, it's the same thing, where stay back, build up heat, go for a finisher. It's the same thing. I can't... Saying the same thing for every video gets really old after a while, but I kind of have to do it because, well, somebody might, you know, and I'm just saying, like, you know, we all do this, of course. Like, I don't expect anybody to watch every video in this guide series, because I mean, who does, for the most part, unless they're wanting to watch me do the entire thing. I'm talking about people that just want to get in and find out, like, okay, how do I beat this? And then they look it up, they see my thing, they check it out. Good, done, out. You know what I mean? So, that's why I typically have to keep continuously explaining the same thing to some extent. So that way everybody knows, and we're all kind of caught up, and I don't leave anybody behind. So, but at the same time, that does kind of come at a cost, because it makes it to where my videos, if people are watching my videos in a sort of elongated amount of time, then it's like, oh my god, shut up. Like, we know, we've seen it a billion times. But yeah, it's just it's a hard thing to kind of just deal with. I don't know, I'm just venting. That's why I'm saying, like, maybe I should just take another extra little break right after and just not worry about Ninja Gaiden, because, like, I can do Ninja Gaiden at any point and be fine. Alright, laser room. Just I'd say watch what I do in terms of what enemies appear, and then you can decide when you want to use the laser. Don't just do it when I do it, because I'm pretty sure there's more enemies that do spawn. Although having 2 crushers in the same room, by the way, decoy would help you out a ton here, but I got lucky, so whatever, you know. But decoy would help you out a ton. I think this room does drop one, but 2 crushers do suck. The stasis net's great against them. However, then you have to deal with these guys. But Impact Shield will help you out a ton instead. So, I'd say, once you come in this room, if there is a decoy, grab the decoy if you want. Then use it against the crushers and then use laser. Or, preferably, use the laser on these guys, because these guys are awful. But then again, decoy's not going to work very good on them anyway, because they're just going to attack, so... I have to actually think about this one. I don't know, maybe I did make the best choice, because... Now that I think about it, I mean, Impact Shield kept me safe from actually getting hit at all. And trying to keep these guys in place the entire time is just really obnoxious. So, yeah, maybe, okay, I would recommend just using the lasers on the crushers instead. However, if you prefer using them on the spiders, you know, have at it. I'm not gonna say that's not a good idea. It's just, now that I think about it, like, huh, maybe that wasn't a bad idea. So... yeah, for once. But yeah, there should be a decoy that does show up, or at the very least, it looks like just a shield then, if that's the case. Either way, just 2 waves of fights, so nothing really super special about that at all, technically speaking. You know, it's almost tempting to start doing live guides. That way I could just kind of talk about whatever I just did right then and there. Changing the formula. Well, Gen 4. There you go. But we've got another, I don't know, 20-some plus guides to go through before I get to Gen 4 for hardcore in content, so yeah. Because I plan on doing 36 games, and I mean 36 in total, like, no matter what. If it's a redo, which there might be like 3 of them I might consider doing this year. Or not even really this year, but for this generation. Oh, by the way, something weird in this room kind of happened. I don't know what it was, but I must have missed the overdrive, I think, on one of the enemies behind me. Yeah, regardless, I still got the guy I wanted to attack, and you can also just Impact Shield, which I end up doing anyway, like in this corner. Just try to find the safest place away from the lasers. That's one of the biggest things I can advise you for. And then try not to fudge up as much as I did. If you do, it's fine. You know, I should have easily just... What I could have done was just put down the shield in front of this guy and took him out first, because typically I would say this guy is usually first priority, but I mean walkers are priority, like pretty high priority because they're easy to get rid of. However, enemies like this, the enforcer guys or whatever they're called, if I have whatever weapons around to deal with them, like a shield and maybe a riot blaster or just whatever, anything that can just sort of help me deal with them, overdrive, I just go straight for them first. Because they're big, they're tanky, they're really annoying. And I don't want to deal with antenna stuff much. At all. But I kind of have to. I should have probably grabbed that, but I already had shockwaves, so it's fine. I don't know. This is all just... Look, I'm thinking on the fly. That's the thing you got to keep in mind. I'm not really thinking about who's coming up next and where. And that's another thing that I guess you could argue that my guides do kind of potentially help with is, hey, watch me fumble and try not to do the same thing that I did. You know, learn from my mistakes, so to speak. So that way you guys can kind of understand what's good, what's not, that sort of stuff. Or who's coming up, who I have to fight. Yada, yada, yada. That sort of thing. I think I just came back here for just getting anything, if at all. Because at this point in time, I'm just upgrading stuff for the sake of upgrading it. I'm not really even paying much attention to what I'm doing. I'm just grabbing whatever that happens to sound fine. I think that was me trying to go back to the bingo board, but realized like I don't have the other one unlocked. The other part of it unlocked, I mean, because I need another red door. Which, I don't think I get that in this guide. I do it, I think, on my own playthrough. I assume. It's been a bit, but I just assume that that's the case. Alright, the DMC reboot room. What it reminds me of. Like, I think the second chapter, whatever the heck it was. There's like maybe 5 or 6 of these things in here. Like, no, it's like 4 or 5. I believe there's 1 fight in total, but it's not a really hard room. It's just finding all these things sucks. There's one back here. There's one, I think, on a wall that you have to kind of just go around to find it. I don't know what's up with the filament stuff doing that weird little look to it. I think that's on purpose, but yeah, these guys appear and just as obnoxious as they normally are. So of course, deal with them as you do normally. I like to use shockwave just to make sure I do as much damage as possible, as fast as possible, just so I can get rid of them. Whoa! I choked there for a second. Sorry, sorry. I can't do commentary for too long. I'm telling you, because eventually my spittle starts to get really bad, and I start choking on my own spit, so it happens. I don't want to drink mid-video either, because I find that rude. I don't like making any sort of noises, because I think that's kind of just rude for videos. Because there's still one last guy left that decided to appear. No surprise, but it's just a regular dude. Nothing too bad to deal with. And he's got a huge amount of heat already built up because he's an idiot, so take him down, there you go. And now I can finally claim my reward. For the last 2 hacking things, there's one right here, and there's... What the hell? Something just kind of slammed outside, it sounded like. There's one over there, and of course there's one sort of like back to my right somewhere. I believe. That's close by. You have to kind of go around just to find it. It's not super hidden, it's just more so that I'm being kind of dumb and forgetting. It should be on one of these pillars, I think. Like, you come back here, turn around, and then you see it. Yep, there it is, okay. Yeah, sorry about that. It's just... I don't know. I knew it's somewhere, like, hidden. I just forgot, that's all. Alright, well, we're almost done, folks. We've got one more video to go. And you'll probably have to wait until maybe next week by the time I even get the energy to want to do it. Because, man, oh man, another 40-minute session, I think, give or take. And it's like, oh, these commentaries are going to kill me, bro. But, hey, you know, I signed up for it. It's my hobby. That's just, you know, I've done this for so long. So, don't feel bad for me. I made this decision. And I gotta live with the consequences. I believe for this fight, there might be... Maybe I might be wrong, but there might be a couple of impeders that show up. I might be thinking of something completely else, of course, but... We'll see. So first off, a couple of walkers. Dead filament walker guys. Nothing too bad to deal with. You've dealt with them the entire game, so... Luckily, they're relatively pretty easy. And then now we got... Oh wow, what do you know? Another walker to appear. And now we have to deal with the drone guys. Okay, and this guy. So, there's a new weapon that you get. I think it's like Concussion Blast or something like that. It's supposed to go through even antennas. Not destroy them necessarily, but make it to where the hacking just goes down. I think I have triple shot upgrade maybe right there. Either way, just, if you got overdrive, go for it. If you don't, riot shield. Or riot blaster. If you don't have that, shockwave the antennas. That sort of thing. Or even hack mines. Not hack, I mean sticky bombs. They're annoying to deal with, but they're not that bad. And then take out everybody else around you as well. Well, try to stun him first. Or at least, well, I guess technically take him out first, because he might end up shielding all the other guys. And you won't want it. So, yeah, let's see. Alright, 30 more seconds, and I don't know what happens in that 30 seconds. I think that's about it. There should be no more fights for this video that I'm aware of. I think I just go back to the shelter and go from there, and we just do more stuff later. Ah, red door time. But I don't think I have the key for it. Or at least I'm going back to save up. Yeah, alright, anyway, that's it for this. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. As always, take care, everybody.